Well, good morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. It's October, it's the end of the season, and everybody on the lake's trying to get their boats out of the water pretty much all at the same time. But we're going to do things a little differently this year. It's always a little crowded down at the launch. On this lake here, I'm at the very top north end of the lake, and of course the boat launch is at the farthest point on the south end of that lake. Usually each year, my good friend Guy gives me a hand. He'll grab the pickup in one of the trailers. Usually takes a few hours. He'll drive the concession roads all the way around the lake, meet me down at the dock. We'll get the boat on the trailer, pull her out of the water, and then do it again for the Sea-Doo, with the jet ski. Trying to get your boat out of the water this time of the year is pretty tough because you've got everybody else on the lake also trying to get their boats out. And on top of that, fishing's really good in this lake apparently. A lot of people trailer into this lake to fish every day, especially on the weekends. So you can sometimes line up and take a little bit of time trying to get your trailer in the water to get the boats out. So while we're having coffee yesterday, Guy says, well, don't worry, he said, you can get the Sea-Doo out or the jet ski out all by yourself. You don't need my help for that. And of course, I was a little puzzled and I thought to myself, I looked at him, I said, how's that? He said, well, you have a tractor. And I said, yeah. And he said, and you've got a set of pallet forks. So if you have a coffee in a few minutes, stick around. I think this might be interesting. Cheers.
Still sleeping, clouds on the ceiling. Me, I roll the naked streets. The old Turkish fellows, they're smoking their tobacco. And oh, what a perfume it brings, the first rays of sun. Peer over the building. I'm going to the water to watch diamonds dancing and gaze at the trees. Part of me is free, the part of me is not. Part of me is gone in a midnight dot. My brain wants to leave, my body wants to stay. Somehow my soul is blown away, the first rays of sun appear over the buildings. I'm going to the water to watch diamonds dancing and gaze at the tree. And gaze at the tree. first rays of sun. The first rays of sun. The first rays of sun. The first rays of sun.
Well, that went really well and really fast. In fact, I have to be honest, I think I spent more time trying to move the cameras around and videotape it for you than the chore actually took to get done. I'm pretty happy. I'll tell you, I sure miss having Guy around. He's pretty smart. I would never have thought about using my tractor to get this thing out of the water and save so much time today on a beautiful sunny day. I still remember almost 2 years ago I picked up that compact tractor, and when my dealer dropped it off to me, I remember he said to me that no matter how many things I could think of at the time that I was going to be able to use that tractor to do for me, he said there's dozens of other things you're going to come across that it's going to come in handy for. And he was right. As you folks know, I'm not an engineer and not really that mechanically inclined, but especially if you're a new tractor owner, I need to tell you there was a lot of prep work I had to do before I attempted trying to lift this thing out of the water. Let's talk about numbers. Because I'd never done this before or anything of this magnitude, I needed to make sure that things kind of lined up for me before I attempted it, especially with the compact tractor and especially when I was by myself. So the first thing I did is I looked up the specs on this jet ski. Jet ski weighs 425 pounds. I also called my dealer just to make sure that, one, it was okay for me to use straps to pull this thing and lift it out of the water, and two, to ask them where the best placement of those straps would be relative to where the engine and the weight in this unit is. Got the thumbs up from them because they said they use straps all the time and pallet forks to move these things around in the yard, and they told me where to put the straps. So I know I've got 425 pounds. Let's go take a look at the tractor. So I also know that my B2601 weighs about 1,670 pounds. I know that the front end loader, including the bucket, is about 450 pounds, and about 200 pounds of that is the bucket itself. I also know that these clamp-on bucket forks will take 2,000 pounds. And I'm also aware from the manual that at its highest point, which is about 7 feet in the air, the bucket will lift about 900 and some odd pounds at its highest point in the arc. But from what I've learned, and again, I'm a newbie, that's not the most important thing to consider. Let's talk about ballast. I knew that if I was going to swing 425 pounds off of that bucket 7 feet in the air, that I was going to need a lot of weight on the back of this tractor. And so I got my heaviest implement, which is my finish mower. It weighs 577 pounds. I also know that I've got rim guard or beet juice in these back tires, which gives me another couple of 100 pounds. So I'm pretty sure I had enough weight on the back to offset that 425 pounds I was going to be swinging. I didn't know for sure, but it seemed to make sense to me. And lastly, I remembered one other thing that one of the subscribers had taught me a long time ago: center of gravity. You may have noticed that just before I went to lift that jet ski out of the water, I dropped my implement down almost right to the ground to keep that weight really low and at least below or at axle level of the tractor. Because I understand that lifting it up or keeping it high up in the air above the center of gravity of the tractor works kind of counter to trying to balance the front. Or at least that's what I've been told. And I think it makes sense. So at the end of the day, got the jet ski out safely, can take it out the back, get her winterized now and put away for the year. And I'm all wrapped up early. I hope you enjoyed the video today and I hope it was informative. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. Have a wonderful week with your families, and I'll see you again on the next one. Cheers.